everybody. Full moon Capricorn. My Capricorn friends, Molly. I see you there. And others. Here we are on this very big full moon. They all are, right? But some are bigger than others, and this is one of these really strong ones. I had that image, if you were here before we began, I had an image of a stone wall and the heart stone in it. And I thought that was such a good image for Capricorn. Capricorn is the initiate, right? It's the final degree of human evolution. It's a really powerful spiritual sign. Even though in the mundane world, it can seem very, ambitious and, kind of like regular. People that are Capricorns, they are successful, right? Because they put one step in front of the other. And if you think of a goat climbing the mountain, right? They can stand on an inch of stone and not lose their balance and keep going up. And so that's the power of Capricorn. And so, but the spiritual side of it is the initiation degree. It is the beginning and the ending of a cycle. And so it's a powerful time, and that image of the stone wall with the heart in it reminded me of Ukraine, of course, of what's happening there, of trying to make something good out of something horrible and awful, to keep remembering to be steadfast, right? To love through things, love anyway. Right? That's the practice, to love anyway, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're experiencing, no matter, what the conditions are. Can you love still? Love, of course, has much bigger meaning than the way we normally think of love. Because love, typically we think of romantic love and love of, a friend or love of family. But it's so much bigger when I say love. I mean it almost like a word that means God, right? It's all that is. It is, and so when in doubt, love, right? Or when in doubt, one of my favorite teaching stories is Paramahansa Yogananda, who runs did run the Self-Realization Fellowship. He began that in the 30s here in America and came to California. And if you haven't been to SRF, or the Self-Realization Fellowship on Sunset Boulevard, right at the ocean there, that's a place to go in your life, to make pilgrimage to, because here comes this teacher from India, right, who back in those days was very alien. We didn't understand that culture at all, where the East met the West. And he tells this wonderful story about meditation, because he was a teacher of meditation and spiritual things. And his practice was all day long, all night long, all day long, all night long, he would say, God, 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 God. And it ran like a clock, right, in his mind, in his consciousness. And that word is so loaded in our culture for various reasons, as you can imagine. So love, to me, is another way to say this universal, all that isness, right? That is love with a really big capital L in cursive. And that love is what we're talking about. How do you put a love stone in the concrete wall, in the rubble, right? In the rubble. Back when there was that big earthquake, which is also a Capricornian concept, right? Back in whatever it was, 93 or 4, it was the big one here in California. Afterwards, there was rubble everywhere, and a lot of the houses around me were red tagged, which means they had to be torn down because they were so damaged from the earthquake. And so there was just rubble everywhere. And I was taking the rubble because I had been to Hawaii. And what they did is they would stack the stones. You've seen them now. It's pretty commonly done. But in those days, it wasn't that common. And I was stacking stones, making these really high, beautiful stacks of stones all around these rubble fields. And there was a person that lived up the hill, and she would knock them all down every day. And I realized that it was offensive to her because she didn't know what it was. right? She didn't understand what it was. And so it just bothered her. She didn't, know what it was. And when we don't understand what something is, we are afraid of it, right? So I just kept stacking them up. And one day I ran into her, knocking over one of the stacks. And I said, these are good luck. I was telling her about what they are and kind of the whole philosophy about it. And she built one with me. And we built one together, and then all of them were standing there, and people started building up my little street. I live way up in the hills. Other people were putting up stacks of stones. And so after this earthquake, after this kind of disaster in Los Angeles, there was beauty being made, just as an example. And that image that I showed of the stones with the heart, it's out of the rubble of your life, of an illness, of a catastrophe, of a change that you didn't expect. Can you still love? Can you still God, 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 God? No matter if you're dying on your deathbed or you're in a big change in your life and you're moving somewhere else or something's happening, can you still love, love, love? And so the moon, the full moon, is in Capricorn. Right, that the sticks and stones of things, the backbone of things, the spine of something. Capricorn rules the knees. Right, you can fall to your knees. It's holy. It's about the bones of the body or the bones of the thing. And so we have this upward steady climbing of Capricorn and with Cancer on the opposite pole. Right, so these pairs of opposites of the two opposite points of Cancer, feelings, intuition, psychicness, sensitivity, hurt feelings, all those kinds of words, right, about the water and the ocean, the emotion, right, are all Cancerian words. So we're in a time in the month of this year of feelings, while meanwhile Capricorn is steady as she goes, one foot in front of the other, climbing the mountain, steady up, up, up. And so that's some of the energy that you might be experiencing, is this extreme emotion right now. Because, and I'm going to share this chart, is to show you something of it. Right, so here we go. Here's the full moon chart, and here's the moon in yellow, 21 Capricorn, opposing the sun. It's always in direct opposition when it's a full moon. So of course it'll be 21 Cancer, sun, 21 Capricorn, moon. Exact, 21, 21, 21, 21. What's unique about this is we've got a couple of little mini stelliums, Sun and Mercury, conjunct up here, opposing Moon and Pluto conjunct. So heavy, heavy, heavy. Wanting to talk about it, needing to talk about how you feel, but the feelings are almost more than you can manage. The feelings are so big. So you might be, so Moon and conjunct Pluto, right? That's what I'm really emphasizing there, is Moon conjunct Pluto is super, super intense. And it means that your emotions are bigger than you are, right? And so we're at it, and you can feel it. It's everywhere, because we're not just talking about me and you, we're talking about the world. And, if you're watching the January 6th conversations, those are interesting, what's happening right now. People are coming forward. And on that note, I want to tell you the Sabian symbol for the full moon, which is at 22 Capricorn. And the symbol is, this is such a great symbol, a general revealing nobility of character by accepting defeat gracefully. I mean, that's pretty darn specific, isn't it? A general revealing nobility of character by accepting defeat gracefully. So, of course, what came to mind right away was Boris Johnson. That his stepping down, and the ministers stepping down before him, and then him stepping down. And then what's happening in the U.S. with the January 6th trial, that there's this king in place, right, that's still sort of in that role in a way. And people are stepping forward, right, and saying something. And so it's very dynamic. And then the ex-president, I believe, of Japan, right? Shinzo Abe, he is assassinated, right? There's things going down that are very emotional, that are very extreme in a way. But I thought that that Sabian symbol of a general revealing his nobility, his character, right? By accepting defeat gracefully. Sometimes you step back. You don't always go forward, right? And so remember, that symbol is for the whole month. It sort of sets a tone like a tarot card does, right? It's an impression of what, you know, we're all kind of collectively experiencing. And it sort of says a lot about what's happening right now, where a lot of things are coming forward. The other thing is, with that Moon and Pluto conjunction, and I wanted to just at least say one more thing about that, is wounds, right? Old wounds from childhood, wounds from, seems like 1,000 years ago, past life wounds even, but anyway, this life wounds is plenty enough to deal with, that they are coming forward to be healed. And there's a lot of emotion around them. There's a lot of Cancerian energy around them, protection, right? We don't really want to give up our wound because we don't think there's any other way. So we've created this defense mechanism that protects us, we feel. And in that protection, by keeping it so constant, it never actually gets healed, right? But the opportunity is to let that wound, whatever it might be, and we'll talk about that in the meditation, to come up for a healing. So as I'm saying that, you know, maybe something's coming to mind already about what that wounding might be for you that's old. It's not something right now. It's something that comes from a long time ago that you're still working with, that's getting in the way of your forward motion. In a way, globally, we are also working on a wound. The United States is working on the wound of the Civil War, right? The whole world is sort of, you know, is grappling with some similar subjects, right? The wounds of the country, right? Every country has a sign, like America is July 4th, right? 1776, that's our birthday as a country. And July 4th, 1776 is it's Cancer. We're the house, we're the home. For everybody, come to our house. You can stay here. Welcome, right? That was part of the ethos of our country's mantra, in a way, is, you know, give us your tired and poor, right? And we opened our doors to the world, in a way, back when we were born, when the Constitution was made. But, you know, we're going through the shadow side of that because, and there's just one more astrological thing I want to mention because it's so important, is that the United States right now, and exactly in January 2023, actually, is having an exact Pluto opposition, Pluto return. Well, a Pluto return, you would never have one in your lifetime because the Pluto orbit is 248 years. So we would never experience that in a single lifetime, but a country would, right? A country could have many every 250 years or so. It has another, it has another. Like a Saturn return, you ones that know about that, it's similar to that. Well, what is a Pluto return? What's happening? That's what a Pluto return is. Where everything is upside down, everything is being revealed, everything is being exposed, the shadow. And it's the opportunity, of course, to heal that wound, that shadow, and to bring it into the light. So whether it be personal, our own energies and our own work and our own forward motion as soul incarnate, or it's the countries, or it's the Twitter, or it could be anything, right? Everything has a cycle. Everything is living inside those rhythms, right? We're all affected by it. And so how is it affecting you? What is that wound that's coming up? I started to call this you know how I've been titling them lately? I was calling it surrender meditation, because going back to the Sabian symbol, because the Sabian symbol is a general revealing nobility of character by accepting defeat gracefully, right? But the key words of that are truce, white flag, I give, uncle, things like that. It's like, don't fight something you can't win, you know? And so, and when you do that consciously, it is in grace and it is in good character, because sometimes you do step back. Now, this isn't forever. This is for this cycle, this month. It's got an energy about it in this month where we can start to work with that energy of letting go, of surrendering. But the other name I was thinking as I was thinking about it today was feelings, wounded, the not being able to let something go because the feelings are hurt so badly. You know, old unforgivenesses, things like that. Sometimes the unforgivenesses are to ourselves, right? Sometimes it's to someone. But whatever it is, that's some of the energy that we're working with in this full moon. So I bet you're feeling it, because you can't not feel moon conjunct Pluto. That really like digs it up and out, right? We had a pipe break yesterday, so it was like so perfect, you know. That's definitely from something underground coming forward, right? So it's that kind of energy is up. So I think that's enough to kind of set it up. I'm glad you're all here for this full moon. I'm always glad to see you, and it's so powerful when two or more are gathered, you know, when we come together to meditate. When you listen to it later, it's different. It still works and it still has a power to it, but there's something about the group energy of knowing that there's other people in this experience right here, right now, and we're united, we're unified. We're in a community, we're in spiritual community. And so there's power in that. So if you have a candle, you can light it. If you don't have a candle, don't worry, because you'll just use one mentally in your imagination. You'll light a candle, and sometimes that's even better, because you can light really elaborate candles in your mind. They can be anything you can imagine. They can be candelabras, or it can be just a simple candle. And this just holds the intention and the energy of what we're doing. In this feelings meditation, in this holding of the wound, allowing this to come forward for healing. So if you've lit your candle, then just get yourself organized in your space. Light yourself. Be up and down, straight up in your spine if you can be. Because it's different laying down, right, than sitting up. You want the chakras to be vertical, right? Because that's, from our point of view, that's how the energy reconnects. When we're laying down, it has a different effect. Not bad, it's just different. This is much more precise, right? So we want that alignment of the chakras, of the base at the base and the crown at the crown, right? So when you're ready to, just close your eyes and feel yourself come into this time and space. Putting all these ideas down that I even mentioned to touch into what you're sensing, what you're knowing, what you've been feeling in the last days as we come to the full moon. The full moon is a 5-day cycle, and we're right at it tomorrow. The full moon will be exact at 11:37 a.m. It's a super moon, which just means it's closer to the earth and pretty much imperceptible to the eye. But this is technically the biggest super moon of the year. But it's just about the relationship between the moon and the earth, and there's a wobble right in the earth. So every year there's about 3 bigger moons as it comes a little bit closer and a little bit farther, but you don't really see it with your eye, yet it has an intensity. And so when the moon is a little closer, the tides are a little higher, right? You'll have bigger waves. If you're a surfer, you would know. Bigger waves inside ourselves as well. Bigger emotions inside ourselves. We're basically water bodies. More than 70% water our body is. So we're affected by those tides also, of the pull, of the orbit, of the gravity of the moon and the earth. And so just seeing what you're sensing and letting yourself, with your breath, quieten yourself down, coming into the moment and landing into your heart center. So I'm going to ask it like this before we go into the deep part of the meditation, is another way to phrase this wounding idea. Maybe you can say it like this: what am I working on right now? That's very Capricorn, right? To say it from that point of view. What am I working on right now? Now when we say work, of course, our mind goes right to work, and sometimes it actually is that. Maybe our work is spiritual in some way, or connected to our purpose. But it's also, what are you sort of tinkering with inside yourself? What are you building inside yourself? Right? What are you making? Right? And where is it getting kind of stymied, maybe, by insecurity, by sensitivities, or hurt feelings, or not believing in ourselves, things like that. So what am I building? Let's ask that first. And as you're just sort of setting this up, feel the heart center, recognize everyone, all these heart lights that are here in this particular right now meditation, all these heart lights around the world, because at the full moon, everyone can see it. It's before time, right? Before clocks, before measuring things of devices like this, we used the sky was our clock, was our seasons, right? And so many millions are meditating today and tomorrow and the next day already, and you can link up, even if it's not in, they're not meditating right when we are, although there's going to be many that are meditating right when we are. We're all linking to the same energy stream, because we're all one. There's a one life, and you can feel that linkage. I work with groups of people that we work in group meditation together, and some of them are at different parts of the planet, and I work in groups of 3s and 9s and 12s and all kinds of different configurations and hundreds too. But when I'm in smaller groups, like under 9 or so, I can feel if somebody meditated this morning in our group that touched into the meditation already, and I can feel that some haven't quite yet, right? I can feel it. We can feel that if we want to. And so there's all of these conscious souls on the planet that are living in an awareness of a conscious life. And so feel that heart connection with kindred souls everywhere, heart to heart in our group, heart to heart in the greater group, and even in the greater group that is not even in form, right? That abstract group. You can sense all this light of awareness in this meditation now. So, from the heart center, send a line of light now to the head center. And feel it just go rip, instant. Like a silvery thread from the heart to the heart of the head center. Making that link. Making that link. And then also sensing the overlighting soul just above, through the chakra of the crown, just above the body line, the overlighting soul point, the heart of the soul, So from the heart to the heart head center to the heart of the soul, feel this mechanism of these 3 points. And sort of the mantra of these 3 points is, I am the soul incarnate. I am the soul in form. I am the soul in form. And just realizing that as a fact. As a fact. I am the soul in form. And keeping your positioning in the head center, feeling that line of light continue upward through all the masters and all the teachers that have become before you and that are here now and that are coming. Sensing these more points of light that lift us even higher. All the way through the heart of the sun, all the way to the heart of Sirius. And just feel that alignment now. Just like we know the chakras, the first chakra is at the base of the spine, the second chakra is at the navel. These are points like outer chakras in a sense, but they're also of our self plus humanity. So they're like expansive chakras in a sense. And you can sense as you go up that line from the heart to the heart of the head center, to the heart of the soul, to the heart of the masters and teachers, to the heart of the sun, to the heart of Sirius. You can sense like which ones are more awake than others, just like we can sense on our chakras which are more awake than others. Or if they're all just humming away, humming along. And just see what you notice about these, we call them stations, these points of awareness. Meanwhile, taking your seat in the heart of the head center like a pilot in a cockpit. And from this place we'll work with this. What are you working on right now? What are you building? What are you trying to do in this lifetime? Right? Those are big questions. What are you trying to do in this lifetime? There's more than one answer here, but there's a soul answer. And that usually is a thing that has a lot of aspects to it. But answer it however you do today. What are you working on right now? And just sense that answer. And just also sense what about the wound of the life might be stopping you or taking longer to do something because of the resistance, of the fear from the wound that thinks it can't heal, that hasn't forgiven itself. And I want you to bring all of this into the light of this meditation. And so call on light now. Light, light, more light. Call on more light to illuminate this conversation, this question, this answer. call on light to illuminate the shadow. It's like a dark room, and you keep tripping over everything. It seems like no matter where you move, you're tripping on something. And then you realize, or you find the light switch, and you go click, and the light turns on, and there's just one chair in the center of the room. But we keep tripping around it, right? It's the one thing that affects 1,000 things. There's not 1,000 things wrong with us. There's one thing that affects 1,000 things. So there's that chair, and when it's dark, it just seems like we keep running into it. So light, light, more light. We call on it. And just in your own timing and way, light, calling on light to illuminate. And see what comes up as you move into the silence now. What are you trying to do as conscious soul in this lifetime? What is the wound, the chair that might be stopping you? Turn on the light and see. And see. Just by realizing this, it's already changing. When the conscious soul and the personality come together, it can be very quick or quicker. Right? The change, the remembering of who you are, why you're here. Light, allowing light in the shadows, allowing light where you don't know, allowing light what you can't see, allowing light so you can see. And inside of that, I see, or I am seeing, or I'm beginning to see. see. And feel that the wheels already turning of this deep inner work at this big full moon. The power of using this energy right now, putting it to work in those places that need it within us. And you can feel it already shifting, especially if you named it. It's already shifting. Good. Still in that light, in that illumination, in that brightness. Now, from that same point in the heart of the head, imagine a line of light going out, forward, through the ajna center, and giving this exercise, in a sense, or this piece of work that you just did, giving it to the world. Almost like Tonglen, right? You're just offering now. Where there's darkness, let there be light. Where there's confusion, let there be clarity. Where there is deception, let there be truth. Where there is hatred, let there be love. You see, it's like a blessing. And you send it out from the work that you just did yourself. You give it outwardly to all beings. And you can see the veils coming off and the shadow being revealed. And the love coming forth, and the healing occurring. Peace, the abiding peace that is always there. Moving around our earth. As above, so below. As within, so without. And then just gently letting the breath get deeper. And as you do, on your exhalation, just offering all blessings to all beings. 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 Om. Good, and then when you're ready to, letting your breath get deeper and fuller. Until it starts to feel natural to transition out of this meditation. And still in the light, bringing this light with you into your day, into your world, into your life. Let the light cast light out in front of you, so it's easy to know where to go. You just follow the light. Follow the love around. Follow the light. And it's already there. And we just tune ourselves to be able to recognize it, right? So we can recognize it. And it's easy to recognize love. And it's easy to recognize light. Right? If it's not love, it's not love. Right? So it's easy to see. And now you've tuned yourself in this meditation, calibrated yourself to it. So it'll be easier to see, even. So, good. Thank you, everybody, for being part of this full moon meditation. So glad you were here. The next full moon is August 11th, which is a Thursday. So I will see you there. Take this light with you, and I'll see you soon.